All right, this is something that very few men know. I would consider this like advanced teachings when it comes to female nature. Never use complex sentence structure when communicating with a woman that you're dating. Okay? Never use complex sentence structure when communicating with women that you're dating or that you're in a relationship with. Okay? So when you're communicating with a woman in real life or over the cell phone or with text messages, okay, all of your words that you are using needs to be simple, not very advanced, and not very complex. When you start using advanced sentences or complex sentences or big words and stuff like that, or words that are like more complex or whatever, you will notice a decrease in desire. Okay, when I say big words, a good example would be saying the word, let's say, intelligent when you could have just said smart. All forms of complex communication will cause a potential decrease in desire. You'll notice that it now opens you up to more testing and more interest tests. Okay, when you start using advanced sentences and complex sentences, now you get tested more. And what happens is there might be different sentences that she reacts to in a negative way, or she doesn't like how it sounds or how it makes her feel. And now this alters her perception of you because she starts to feel like you don't have as much value as she thought you did, all from the words that you're saying. Okay, and then number 3, it might even create verbal conflict where she may appear frustrated or disagreeable. So too much communication in general will also cause this. If you're communicating too much and you're communicating too frequently, this is also going to cause this. Okay, so let me give you an example. Inside of my community where I help men learn, understand, and master the language of women, it's because of these examples, because I genuinely believe that when it comes to that process, a man has to learn, understand, and master the language of women. Like, you have to understand how it works when it comes to female nature. Very important. Be sure to join us inside of that community after today's video is over. Okay? This is what easy to understand vocabulary looks like. Okay? Basically, it's all of the phrases that you said or that you used when you were a kid. Okay? When you're a kid, you probably just use simple phrases. I am hungry. I'm sleepy. I want food now. I want ice cream. Okay, a lot of your sentences were probably just simple. Okay, this is what simple phrases looks like. When you start getting more complex than just basic sentences, she starts to think that you have lower perceived dating value because now it seems like you're trying to self-qualify. So be sure to never do this, okay? You'll notice that women respond to the sentences with a vocal tone that demonstrates feminine energy much more when you communicate this way. It's almost like she is more in her feminine energy when you communicate with very simple language and sentences that are never complex. Okay, so you'll notice she might giggle at it, she might agree with what you're saying, or she seems really happy. You're going to notice little mannerisms that she starts demonstrating because she gets excited when you communicate this way. This is what you're going to notice. Okay, so complex phrases equals over communication. And to women, over communication, okay, basically equals that he's trying to now self-qualify. So now she feels like her dating value is higher than yours. When you over communicate, she feels like this guy is trying to self-qualify to me, which creates a situation where she now starts to feel like her dating value is higher than yours, and now hypergamy is most likely not satisfied, and now she finds a better option. So you want to never go into the conversation. You want to always stay above the conversation. Here's what that means. There's a variety of communication patterns that you're going to notice, and it could be in real life, it could be on text message, it could be over social media. When you're dating a woman, you'll notice things like this, okay? As she communicates, she'll attempt to verbally pull you into her frame or into her world, okay? She's going to start talking about a bunch of different things and try to get you to react to all these different sentences that she's saying. You cannot do that, or you lower your perceived status and you lower your perceived value. What you need to do is you need to stay above the conversation, okay? That means when you communicate back, it's just easy sentences, okay? That's all you need. A simple statement. You're making a statement. You're not necessarily asking a lot of follow-up questions or going deep into the conversation. When you keep things in this format, you're going to notice a smoother vibe, okay? And you're going to notice that it's easier to continue to communicate. So here's what happens, okay? If you react and you respond to every single phrase or every sentence that she's going to most likely say to you, your words start to no longer hold any weight. Okay, it doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't seem like the things that you're saying are as meaningful because you react to everything. You cannot react to everything. Listen to me closely, okay? Any type of super serious topics, okay, or any type of, back and forth serious communication with logical communication back and forth, you're going to notice that her attraction starts to go down. Okay, so any type of serious conversation along with complex sentences starts to turn her off. All of your text messages, all of your, phone calls or whatever, it needs to be in this type of format where the sentences that you're saying are very simple, okay? This allows her to feel the connection or the spark that she will probably claim that she wants, because what that actually means is she feels as if his interest level is slightly unclear. Therefore, she wants to get to know him more. So let's move on to this column right here. When women talk about feeling the spark, or when women talk about feeling the connection, okay, most men interpret this for her wanting deeper level conversation and deeper communication. Okay, they assume that she wants more conversation and she wants to get to know him on a deeper level or on a personal level. This is not true. As soon as you do this, you lose the mysteriousness that she noticed or that she craved when she first met you in the first place, okay? So most men interpret this for her wanting deeper level conversation and communication, and it's quite the opposite, really. Okay, it really is quite the opposite. Okay, let me give you a few examples right here. Being a man of few words, not needing to over communicate, or keeping most of the phrases about you and yourself. When you keep the sentences very simple, okay, this causes her to feel slight uncertainty because the man is not very clear about his interest level, and now there is a spark or there's connection in her mind, because what you will find out is that less is more. Less is more. When the man is never moved off his center, see, this is what you have to understand. The reason why guys tend to use complex sentences and they over communicate, or they're trying to really make sure that they're very clear about every single sentence so that way she really knows what he's talking about and what he's referring to, is because they have fear of loss. So he's scared that any amount of error in communication is going to cause a decrease in desire, when it's actually opposite. When guys try too hard, and it's like he almost seems like he's too perfect because of the level of effort, she naturally starts to pull away. So when the man is never moved off his center and he never allows his internal peace to be disrupted, okay, she feels that he is calm, he's non-reactive, and she's going to feel like he is stronger than the rest of the men that she talks to. And the reason being is because most men over-communicate, and what happens is that starts to show that that guy is actually anxious and has a fear of loss. This is naturally going to create a situation where she starts to assume that he has a decrease in dating value or not very many options. So any fear that a woman sees that you have will create a situation where she wants to pull away. When she feels like you are fearful that the relationship will be over, or you're fearful that she's going to stop talking to you, or any of those things, okay, you're going to notice a shift in energy, okay? So to really allow this whole topic to sink in. Another good example is like, don't use 11 words when 6 or 7 would have done the job just fine. Don't over communicate, okay? What you'll also notice is that she will contact you when she feels like she needs reassurance in the relationship. Okay, so when it comes to the relationship and when it comes to communication, somebody is going to need reassurance. When the man is the one needing the reassurance, it starts to create a situation where now she feels like he is potentially weaker than the other guys who don't. Okay, so always keep this in mind. What I encourage you to do at this point is take this even a step further. I created an entire community. Right now we have over 2,000 members inside. I'm helping these guys learn, understand, and master the language of women. When you see this process, you're finally going to have an end-to-end process that you can just copy paste into your dating life and go and use it. So that way the women that you're really attracted to or the woman that you really want to date, you know how to retain the relationship and you know how to retain the interest level, so that way she doesn't desire to leave you. That's why I created this. It's a full end-to-end system that I want you to go and see. Go and check that out. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.